Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Arne Slot explains Liverpool decision that caused controversy in Carabao Cup final loss. Liverpool supporters were left frustrated after Newcastle's 6 feet 7 inches defender Dan Burn scored a header from a corner when man-marked by the 5 feet 9 inches Alexis Mac Allister at Wembley. Arne Slot has defended his decision to put Alexis Mac Allister on Dan Burn at corners after the towering Newcastle defender scored in the Carabao Cup final. Newcastle beat Liverpool 2-1 at Wembley on Sunday thanks to Burn's powerful header from Kieran Trippier's floated cross and Alexander Isak's classy half-volley. Slot threw on 5 attacking substitutes in the second half and 2 of them combined as Harvey Elliott set up Federico Chiesa, but his goal in added time was too little too late. The Magpies were much the better side and deserved their first domestic trophy in 70 years, but their dominance raised questions for Liverpool. The ease with which 6 feet 7 inches Burn beat his marker, 5 feet 9 inches Mac Allister, to power in the opening goal left many Liverpool fans bemused on social media. But Slot was quick to point out that Burn's effort had an expected goals, XG, of just 0.03 and that his zonal marking system, in which Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate and the other best headers of the ball guard the 6-yard box, has worked well from set pieces in general this season. Again, credit to Newcastle, but I can explain, he told reporters in his post-match press conference. We play zonal so we have 5 players zonally close to our goal, so if the ball falls there it is always one of the 5 stronger players that are going to attack that ball. And we have 3 players that man mark and Maka is one of them. Normally a player like Dan Burn or another one runs to the zone because normally. I think he's an exception to that because I have never seen in my life a player from that far away heading a ball with so much force into the far corner. That is part of logic, that they either have to go far away from our zone, which 99 out of 100 times will never lead to a goal, or they have to arrive in our zone and then it's an equal battle, if you want to call it like this. So credit to him, I think he's one of the few players that can score a goal from that distance with his head. Speaking more generally about the match, Slot said, the game was slow, not intense. The game went exactly the way they wanted, with a lot of duels and a lot through the air, and if we play 10 games of football through the air, they win 9 times, that is what led to the first goal and the second. We were outplayed in their style, that is true. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HG, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Liverpool FC transfer news. Our second news is Carabao Cup final timeline, Newcastle's triumph, Joelinton's hat-trick, and Van Dijk's show of class. Liverpool faced Newcastle United in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley with Arne Slot looking for his first trophy as Cup boss and the Toon bidding to end their long wait for a major honour. Some 70 years after their last major honour and 56 years after silverware of any sort, Newcastle claimed a 2-1 victory over the Premier League's runaway leaders, Liverpool, to win the Carabao Cup. Goals either side of halftime from Big Dan Burn and star striker Alexander Isak did the business, registering Federico Chiesa's injury time effort a mere footnote on their big day. For Eddie Howe, it offered vindication of his methods over recent years and made him the first Englishman to win a major domestic trophy in this country since Harry Redknapp won the FA Cup with Portsmouth in 2008. For Liverpool and Arne Slot, they'll look back and wonder about what might have been and what they could have done differently after a display where they were some way below their best. On a remarkable day at Wembley, here's a host of things you may have missed and how the Carabao Cup was won. Without Trent Alexander-Arnold, the expectation was Jarell Quansah would get the nod at right back. And duly, he did. More surprising were the other choices made by Slot. Perhaps less so Caeman Kelleher coming in goal for a listen. He has after all been the Reds' Cup keeper this season. But Diogo Jota kept his place in attack despite a very disappointing display against PSG in midweek. There had been suggestions Curtis Jones could come into midfield at his expense, with Dominic Szoboszlai moving further forwards, but Slot stuck with his centre forward. For Toon Boss Howe, there were no such qualms, with the same side selected in Monday's win at West Ham called upon once more. Well, if you're going to stick your TV camera into a pre-match huddle, then they're going to hear things you maybe don't want viewers to hear. So it was no surprise that both ITV and Sky Sports commentators were promptly apologizing to viewers for the language used by COP captain Virgil van Dijk as he had a few final words with his Liverpool teammates. "We worked so hard to be here. Let's do this," was the Dutchman's final battle cry. First half and Burn's big moment. Liverpool had most of the possession. Newcastle possessed most of the threat. Lethargic was how Jamie Redknapp summed up the Reds' opening 45 minutes, and he wasn't wrong. Slot's side had plenty of the ball, forced a few corners and had Nick Pope rushing from his area to clean up a few long balls over the top, but there wasn't much else from the Premier League's runaway leaders. They had a penalty shout too, for a possible handball by Kieran Trippier. And while Luis Diaz was convinced it should be given, few others were, most importantly the match officials and VAR. Our last news is Alan Shearer's Carabao Cup text message to Newcastle hero speaks volumes. Alan Shearer was leading the celebrations as Newcastle won the Carabao Cup against Liverpool at Wembley, but made sure to offer his thoughts to Magpies captain Bruno Guimaraes. Alan Shearer's pre-game text message pushed Newcastle star Bruno Guimaraes onto Carabao Cup glory, the Brazilian revealed. The Magpies ended their long trophy drought at Wembley on Sunday afternoon as they beat Liverpool 2-1. Dan Burn and Alexander Isak had put Eddie Howe's side in firm control. Federico Chiesa's late goal made for a nervous finish, but Newcastle and Guimaraes were not to be denied. The Magpies captain had an emotional response come the final whistle and revealed that he had received a morale-boosting text from club icon Shearer. He said, "This is my second home, since when I signed for the club, from the relegation, battle, Champions League and now, Carabao Cup, champions. I think we are making history. Someday, when I leave this club, I want the fans to sing my name the way they do to Alan Shearer today. I know we have seen him in the stands today," he, Shearer, texted me before the game. "I am so emotional today." Away from his heartfelt message to Bruno, Shearer also sent a text to BBC colleague Mark Chapman, but it was of a more X-rated nature. Speaking live, he said, "You can see Shearer on the big screen here, which is why they are cheering. About 15 minutes ago, I texted him, 'Are you calm?' I can't tell you what he replied, it will have us taken off the air." Shearer also had some fun on Twitter at the full-time whistle at Wembley. He wrote, "Toon Toon Army. Ah, man. Did the Geordies deserve that, or what? That was amazing." And he then added, "I know but Liverpool are a great club and will win the league and have been brilliant this season, but the Geordies absolutely smashed them today and deserved it." Newcastle now have a few weeks to celebrate ending their long trophy drought, with the international break set to bring domestic action to a brief pause. Their next game pits them against Brentford on April 2nd. Howe's side then come up against struggling Leicester a few days later, with a place in the Champions League firmly in their sights. Newcastle currently sit 6th in the Premier League and just 1 point behind Manchester City, with 10 matches of the season left to play. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.